start recording. Okay, and then I got to get rid of that. Good, we're good. It's all yours.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. Like I said, we're excited with the partnership of Rotary and the Boy Scouts. Some of you guys may have known, Scouting in Central Florida has existed for, in 2022, it'll be 100 years, which we're excited. We're going to celebrate 100 years of Scouting here in Central Florida next year. But just prior to that, the first unit was actually started by Don Cheney in 1920-21, and it was Troop 24. First unit in Central Florida ever started was Troop 24, and of course it was sponsored by Rotary Club of Orlando. So 100 years of history with you guys, Rotary Club of Orlando, Boy Scouts, a long-standing tradition. So we're thankful for you, Rotary, the Boy Scouts, the partnership that we've had for many, many years, longer than even the Central Florida Council has existed. That partnership has been there, and it means a lot. I know a lot of you guys have been in Scouts. Can I just get a raise of hand? How many people in the room have been in Scouts? That's amazing. Wow. Almost everybody. So the impact that it makes on our kids in our program, a lot of you know, is just tremendous. And we just can't say thank you guys enough for your support of Troop Impact 24. I wanted to bring them in today as a chartering organization, our club is, to have them give you a little bit of an update on how many kids are involved, some of the activities that they have going on, and so forth. So if David, if you want to step up, and Casey, give us an update on the pack and the Troop 24, go from there.
So we want to thank all of you and all the previous Scouts that are part of the Rotary, that we're part of Troop 24. We're very proud of Troop 24 being the longest continuously chartered troop in this area. So I have the great honor of being the Scoutmaster of this troop. I took over about 1.5 years ago from Mr. Bosworth, who is an outstanding individual that's not here today, that kind of paved the way for some of the things that we do, as many of the other Scoutmasters and some of you that have played your hand in Troop 24. So I couldn't be more appreciative and honored to be with these boys and mentor them and turn them into awesome leaders, pillars of the communities and all that stuff. But with that being said, our main goal, our main function in Troop 24 is two things. One is to camp. Two is to camp some more. And during those two things that are so important to us, we have fun doing it. So I don't know of anybody that doesn't have fun camping. And literally, when I ask all of our boys, no matter if they come from a cub level or an old goat, which we are, the adults, we camp alongside them as well. We love to camp. We love to do outdoor things. We love to do service projects. We hope that we can align ourselves with some service projects through the Rotary. Maybe some ideas that you guys can give us. Our boys would love to come alongside you and serve with you. I myself as well. So other than that, that's our vision, is to mentor these boys. We have one with us today, Nico James, who is an outstanding individual. Hopefully he'll get his 5 minutes up here as well to tell you what scouting's meant to him. But I'll yield to Jason. Jason is our pack cub master and a very important part of the world. He's our food pack. So the troop just feeds from him. So this is Jason Lopez.
Thank you, Hello. We were pleasantly surprised. Cub Scouts is kindergarten through 5th grade. 2 years ago, kindergarten wasn't even available. That's our Lions. They're the strongest part of our pack. But it's really just a basic introduction to scouting. They go over the scout motto, the law, the oath, and just teaching them that to get involved in community. So we're extremely blessed and thankful that the Rotary Club is bringing that community involvement to our scouts. You know, a big event for us is Veterans Day Parade. Me being a veteran of myself for the United States Navy, we try to instill to them to give back thanks to those people who serve and the community, not only the community, but as well as further to our country. So right now, we were a little affected by COVID. David and I linked up and shared the same vision of combining together, so we didn't lose our chartered organization. So we were blessed to have the Rotary kind of step up and continue this going. We had a great turnout. We pull from a few different schools. We're the only one pack that pulls from a few different schools. It's Blankner Elementary, Hillcrest, as well as Lake Como. Before COVID, we also actually recruited at Lake Eola Charter as well. And then we also did Trinity prior to them going out. But we had a great turnout. We had over 25 participants, about 20 signed up. So we had about 35 new families join our pack. And we have about another 30 in transition that's coming on to the pack. That'll place us right now, currently we're at 90, 42 being parents and 48 being children. And then we have another 30 to 35 that'll be onboarding. So we're real proud of that, and we're looking forward to the year.
This gentleman, I just want to give you a little tidbit about who this guy is, what he means to us. He knew nothing of scouting. He's a homeschooled individual by some great parents that are also on the committee and the board with Troop 24. And he came to us as an older individual, which is unusual because most of them come out through the pack and then into the troop, and they kind of nurture out their years through that way. But Nico came to us at the age of 15. Just that, the character of this young man is just impeccable. On the time that he had between the age of 15 and literally 17 to get from literally no rank to now, he is currently just Monday night received his Life Scout. So in less than a year and a half, this individual has achieved life. It's just unheard of. I don't even know that we've had anybody go through it that fast. But he was always the first. Mr. Fleece, can you sign this here, sign this here, sign this here, sign this here? I need sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up. So the consistency, the persistence that this gentleman was always about. I couldn't applaud him more for doing that. I know he's going to be an outstanding individual and a pillar in the community, and potentially a pillar in the Rotary as well. He's got some high hopes. So I just wanted to just praise this young man as much as I possibly could. I couldn't be more proud of him. He's agreed to stay on as a junior scoutmaster when he eagles out. So that is a big deal to us. We want to keep our Eagles engaged, and Nico's one of them, and hopefully his family will stay with us as well. But I'd like Nico to speak with you in general about some of his ideas and what scouting has meant to him.
Absolutely, Mr. Felice. Hi, everyone. I'm Nico James, and like Mr. Felice said, I'm a life at Troop 24. When I first joined, again, I had no idea what scouting was, but I learned pretty soon what makes Troop 24 great, and that they welcome me into their brotherhood. They welcome me into the Troop 24 family so openly and so invitingly. And, you know, at first you think, oh, Troop 24, what's that? But what you guys are all sponsoring is an escape for the young men of Orlando. You know, because all of us, you know, we're in school all day long, we're doing homework and we're doing a bunch of extracurriculars, but going out into the woods and just being guys, that is something that this generation is missing. And Troop 24 is trying to reestablish that in our lives. And I myself have benefited so much from that, just from being in the woods, being with my friends, having a great time, and learning lessons along the way. So thank you for allowing me to be up here today, and thank you for sponsoring my troop.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Casey Deloach, the committee chair. And so I'm here just for three simple reasons. Number one, to say thank you. You've heard it from each of us. We don't exist as a pack or a troop if we don't have a charting organization. Quick show of hands. Anybody in here been married 50 years? Praise the Lord. That's quite an accomplishment. Well, we've been married for about 100 years, the First Pres. And as a result of a number of circumstances, they needed to part ways with us in terms of being our charting organization. That said, they're still our host organization. And so with a little bit of research and Randy's help to figure out where Troop 24 began, we decided to go back to our high school girlfriend, Rotary Club of Orlando. Now, it's been a while, and I apologize. We've been gallivanting a bit for the last century. But I want you to know we're committed. We're back. And so we intend for this relationship to last just as long as the one we had with First Pres. First Pres is a remarkable organization led by great individuals and has afforded PAC and Troop 24 both a facility, encouragement, and lots of resources. The last thing I want you to know is that we exist as a volunteer army, the parents, we exist as a volunteer army because we believe in youth services and youth services focused on the community. And so when Peter was introduced to me and was already friends with a number of other people on the committee, and he explained to me what Rotary Club of Orlando and Rotary Club in general is about. And he explained the emphasis on youth services, on community services, and it's run by a volunteer army. Well, it became pretty obvious that God might be working something out for his good and for the good of all the scouts involved in PAC and Troop 24. So I want to express particular thanks to Peter Partlow. We would not be here today if it wasn't for Peter. And then in addition to that, I want to express a great debt of gratitude to Dick Harris, because we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the leadership of Peter and Dick. Ultimately, all things, all great things, when it's the benefit of many, usually come at the sacrifice and leadership of a few. And that's why we're here, because of the leadership and the sacrifice of Peter and Dick, seeing the vision for what's possible for the next 100 years, long after all of us are gone. Hopefully we are building a foundation between these two organizations that will persist for the next century, to be a blessing to young boys and young girls who hopefully turn into, as a result of this partnership, leaders who serve youth behind them and the community around them. And so thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be here. The last thing I want to say is, over there at the table with Peter is Lisa James. Lisa, amongst her many roles, being Nico's mom being one of them, is our outdoor and community service chair on the committee. We are intent. Matter of fact, we are determined to do community service work with Rotary Club of Orlando. And so if you have ideas, thoughts, any particular events in mind where you think Rotary Club of Orlando and Troop and PAC 24 can work together, Lisa is the individual that will coordinate all of that. And lastly, we want you. We're not just here, hopefully that you will be our charting organization. If you have a desire to be involved, we want you to be involved. We have lots of needs. Teaching, merit badge classes is a need. Being involved with the committee is a need. It's a volunteer army, just like Rotary Club of Orlando. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so grateful that you've entrusted us to be part of Rotary Club of Orlando and to endorse us with your chartership. And to thank you, Randy, for coordinating all this. Peter and Dick, we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you all. Have a good afternoon.
Scouting in Central Florida. I'll give you guys a little update on that. Obviously, COVID has affected us just like it's affected lots of different organizations, right? So last year was a rough year. We had to turn to a lot of the virtual stuff, just like Rotary Club, a lot of virtual meetings, a lot of Zoom meetings. Our scouts got very good at Zoom and, not being in school and not being with friends. And we've slowly adjusted out of that. Our camp's been open the whole time. It's been open on a more of a limited basis, just to manage capacities in our dining hall and keeping up with COVID protocols and all that sort of thing. But as we go through this pandemic, we're seeing more and more scouts attend camps, go on campouts, being involved. This summer, we had hundreds of kids every week during the summer attend our summer camp, Camp La Noche, which many of you guys have probably been to. 1,600 acres just on this side of the Ocala National Forest on Lake Norris. Every weekend here in October, we're expecting over 1,000 scouts to be at our camp for different events that we have in October and into November. We're seeing a lot of surge in people who want, there's a demand for kids to get outside. They've been stuck inside, stuck on Zoom forever and just want to be interactive with people. They talked a little bit about merit badges and teaching merit badges. Some of them have been done virtually. One of the cool things our council did at the beginning of this pandemic was offer virtual merit badges. So we found out right away, kids want to continue to advance, continue to learn. How can we do that without necessarily getting groups together and doing face-to-face interaction? So we started with like 5 different merit badges: citizenship in the community, environmental science, first aid, a few basic ones. We put it out to our scouts. Within 3 weeks, word got out to not just the scouts in Central Florida Council, but we had a scout from all 50 states in the country were participating in our merit badges virtually, which was amazing. I mean, just that whole country shut down last March, if you remember, and people are just dying to how can I still engage and how can I still learn? All 50 states, the Far East Council in Japan jumped on board. They were trying to get involved. In total, 22,000 merit badges in like a 4-month time period were earned by our scouts that we learned how to do virtually, which was amazing. Now, we picked a lot of the merit badges that you can do virtually. Obviously, there's components of merit badges that you do need to do hands-on experience. You need to take a sailboat out. You need to do some of those things that they had to do on their own and find a merit badge counselors to do. But it's just the demand for scouts to continue, even during the pandemic, was tremendous. And we're thankful for volunteers who help do those things and lead those merit badges. So as you talked about, we're always looking for more people who are professionals in their field that can help teach our young men and our young women the skills needed for, we have 150 some odd merit badges that you can learn from. So if you're a professional, you want to help teach our young men and women, let us know. We'd be happy to connect with you so that we can get these young men and women tied up. In Central Florida, we serve about 20,000 youth, which is, most people are like, wow, I didn't know scouting was still that big. About 20,000 youth are being served in our 7-county area right here in Central Florida. Now we have men, young men and young women joined the program a couple years ago, which is exciting. And this past February, we had our first class of female Eagle Scouts. So we had a handful of scouts in Central Florida here that are female that fast-tracked, much like Nico, as fast as they could, so they could try to be the first female Eagle Scout. But we had a handful of those that earned the rank of Eagle Scout, and they're super excited, and they did their projects, and they had to go through all the work that all of us had to go through for many years. And to see them develop their mentorship and leadership and get those morals of scouting, that a lot of them, to be honest with you, have been involved with scouting for a long time because their brothers are in scouting. So they trekked along with the campouts. They've been involved, but they've never been able to be officially a scout. And now they're able to do that and gain some of the same great skills and morals that many of us have earned over the years. So that's been a great addition, and see where those girls can take things. Giving back, as we talk about scouting for food, community service is a big part of what we do. So far, Eagle Scout projects alone, this year in 2022 or 21, we've had 50,000 hours of community service done by our scouts on Eagle Scout projects alone. That's not to mention some of the different smaller projects that our units do on an individual basis. 50,000 hours is tremendous. And our Scouting for Food, as I mentioned, is our biggest one that every scout gets involved with. That's coming up in November. So the impact that our scouts are making in our local community is tremendous. The work that they do, we just can't say thank you enough to them and the leadership that helps make those things happen. Recruitment, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I think we started recruitment and they talked a little bit about it earlier. Last year is obviously a tough year. We couldn't get into schools, do recruitment, and so forth. This year, schools are slowly opening the doors a little bit. We're able to get in some schools. Some after school programs are getting restarted. Since the beginning of school, so basically August 15th, just over a month now, nearly 2,000 youth have joined scouting here in Central Florida. And that's amazing testimony to the relationships we have with the schools and community organizations. And they're still coming in. I know he said we got 30 in transition just with our unit. We're expecting to be north of 5,000 kids signing up here by November 1st of scouting. So the demand is there. People want to get involved. They want to get outside. They want to be outdoors. They want to learn. And that's exciting for us. We're excited for where that's going to take us in Central Florida and just the impact that our scouts are making locally as well. So lastly, I just want to share with you guys an impact story. It's an email we got. One of these, this young man took our virtual small boat sailing merit badge. So part of it you can do virtually, but obviously you had to do part of it in person, got to learn how to sail and put it on the water and so forth. So I'm just going to read an email from you, this young man's mother, on their experience. Hello, Pam. Pam is our, she heads up our camp, and Chipper is one of the young men at camp who helped teach our young men certain things. I'm emailing you to let you know what a wonderful and memorable experience we had with Chipper at the camp last week. We just returned home to North Carolina after a week vacation, and I must say the best day was spent watching my son Dakota finish his small sailing boat merit badge. Dakota had a rough start to life. When he was 3 years old, he had open heart surgery, where he was arrested for 32 minutes and then placed on ECMO for days to help give his tiny heart a chance to rest. He had temporal lobe bleeds due to medicine and receiving while on ECMO. When he was 6, he began having seizures, and then at 7, he was diagnosed with autism. He then was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder when he was 10 years old. Life has not been easy, but we are determined to make it normal as we can for him. His anxiety has made it almost impossible to leave the house some days. When we took the small sailboat merit badge virtually a year ago with your camp, I never imagined us being able to complete it. When we decided to vacation in Florida, I thought there was an opportunity to try to complete the merit badge. So I reached out to you and Chipper at camp. With the help of both of you, we put my plan into action. I cannot express my gratitude for you to allow us to use the camp and for Chipper to take his time to meet us there. Now comes the part that made me cry all the way back to Orlando that day. I will never forget the patience and dedication that Chipper showed that day. He was so thorough in going back over all the important things of sailboating. He helped Dakota do all the knots he needed to know. He was patient with everything he did, even when Dakota could not remember. He made it a fun learning experience. He helped Dakota when he struggled and never made Dakota feel frustrated. Chipper took the time out of his day to make this an experience that Dakota and I will never forget. Chipper even took his time to show our family the camp. He went above and beyond where we were expected and scheduled on our day to come let Dakota sail. I cannot believe someone of his age, as compassionate as he was with Dakota. He was raised right and should be commended for his professionalism. Thanks so much for the opportunity of a lifetime for Dakota. This is a memory we will never forget. The impacts that scouting can make, that a positive mentor can make on a kid. So I just want to thank the mentors, the leaders, all of you guys who are involved. Sometimes you don't know the difference you're making in kids. They don't always come out and tell us. Parents don't always let you know. But anytime that you have an opportunity to mentor a kid, to give them some direction, some guidance, that impact can go a long, long way. So I just want to say thank you and leave you with that. Thanks for all your support of scouting, the partnership with Rotary. And if there's any more questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, let me start out with a question for Randy. Can you tell us just briefly what your Boy Scouts are going to do for their food drive?
Yes, absolutely I can. So November food drive, every year the Scouting for Food happens first 2 weekends in November. We have our scouts all throughout Central Florida, our 7 counties that we serve. We'll be canvassing neighborhoods, dropping off bright orange bags on people's doorsteps. So, hey, please fill this bag up, leave it by your doorstep on the second Saturday of November. I guess the 13th, if I remember right. And our scouts then go back, canvass the neighborhood the second time, and we pick up the food and we bring them to Second Harvest in most cases, or some local food banks, and some of our smaller communities are in need as well. So generally we collect over 500,000 pounds of food in that one day in our Scouting for Food campaign with our scouts. So this year we're super excited to partner with Rotary and all the efforts that Dick is leading, and hopefully we can get to those or blow past that 1 million meals that we want to collect this year. So we're excited. That's our biggest service project that we do each year.
And also, if you go to Camp Lenoche and you go to the original buildings, you'll see the Rotary Club of Orlando featured there because we were amongst the people that helped build that first building.
Absolutely. I think it was in the 50s that first Rotary Lodge was still built. So it does need some work. So we may need to talk about a partnership and getting the clubs back together. And it's 60 years old. So things happen, 70 years old.
Another point of fact, I believe that Judge Cheney was a member of this club.
Yes, and he helped us purchase Camp Lenoche when we moved up there in the late 40s, early 50s, very much. So some very impactful people, absolutely.
Okay, let's give the Boy Scouts a big hand.
Lisa, you did an awesome job. Anyway, Nico, you did an awesome job. What a spectacular young man you are. Thank you. Remember, be safe, Remember to do business with Rotarians. And if you would now lead me in the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is it fun? Thank you.